For a 4-4-2.
He didn't know what was going on in the room.
Elias managed to refrain from swearing.
He said, if you've got a problem with me, let's sort it out in the gym.
He's actually defending well. Look, the thing is...
Come on! Where has that come from?
Yeah.
They brought through the door. You know, you look at the...
What a performance! The guys.
No, that was ruled off. Quite stupid things like that.
Live from Style Space at the supporters club. Right.
But he was getting a bit tired, I thought.
Come on! Here we go! Come on!
Come on! Yeah! Go!
Good evening and welcome back to West Ham Irons United. You've just witnessed West Ham take a point away from home against Southampton. A well-drilled, professional, disciplined Southampton. Still, I was pretty positive. I don't know where I was at actually. That's a lie. I was positive 1 minute. I was negative the next minute. I didn't know what to think going into this game, but we've walked out with a point, mate.
We have. I don't think anyone really knew what to think when the team was announced. 5 changes, and still no Ben Rama. Diop was nowhere to be seen either. And I guess we're all sort of questioning, was it the right choice to bring on Dawson for his first start of the season? It was all a bit odd, but it's worked out well, hasn't it?
It certainly has. And as, of course, this video is, of course, sponsored by our channel sponsors, which is OneFootball. Check out the video below. OneFootball have teamed up with West Ham Irons United for the month of December. And as you can see here, I'm giving you a rendition of what this app can do. It's got a nice flow. It's really easy to navigate. It gives you a lot of information regarding any football team you're looking for. It gives you breaking news, transfer news, stats. It gives you, and the best part, the latest scores from all over the world. You can start to specify what your favourite league is, who your favourite teams are, and it will give you notifications as well if you want them. You can turn the notifications off, and it will give you regular updates as much as you possibly can. Like I said, they've teamed up with West Ham Irons United, but what you need to do, which will help us out, is go into our description below, and in the description will be a link which will take you to whether it's the Android shop or the Apple shop, where you can then download the app onto your phone. And the really key part here is it's completely free, but it's my go-to app for anything to do with football. It gives you regular updates on stories that are coming out from the club in particular that you support, including our beloved West Ham. Get into the description below, click the link and download the free application. It is fantastic. Of course, I'm Anton. I'm joined by Stel, Matt and Cess, who are on the Matchday Live. Cess, team news when it was announced today. Myself and Matt done a preview with a Southampton fan last night. Loads of changes to talk about. We had Danny Ings getting thrown right back into the starting lineup for Southampton, which we didn't expect. But to add craziness to the whole equation, West Ham made 5 changes to that starting lineup. What was your thoughts, mate?
The rotation had to come. It had to happen. It was going to happen. It's going to happen either this game or the Everton game. You had to pick a choice, really. I was surprised by the likes of Fredericks and Dawson coming in. I was surprised Yarmolenko started as well. But to be fair, Dawson did pretty good. So Fredericks was pretty decent as well, to be honest with you. I wasn't really impressed with Yarmolenko. I was screaming for him really to come off in that second half because I didn't think he offered that much at all. Fornals, it was in a similar position, but in the second half, he steps it up a bit. His defensive duties was gone unnoticed, really. He was always tracking back. That's what you get from Fornals, really. He's an hard worker. That's what he really does. It was a game where it was better. It was better than I expected at the end, where it was 0-0. We could have nicked it, to be honest with you, with the second half change that we did. But we respect the point. At the end of the day, we just got to take it, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt, when it comes to, like Cess has been talking about the lineup there, did you see that lineup as a negative lineup, or where were you at with the West Ham lineup?
I think, like Cess said, don't forget, we've literally got like a 20-man squad. I think we've got 23 players, and, the only players that didn't, I think it's 22-man squad. Like, the only players that didn't really make the team today was Nigel Martin and Masuaku and Balbuena, so your 23-man squad. So he'd have to make changes. We all know that we're lighter going forward than we are in the back. We've got more options at the back. So the fact that he changed 2 of the back 4 doesn't surprise me, because that's where the options are. We've got 3 right backs, 5 centre backs. He had to make changes, like we said. And we spoke about this way, like 2-3 weeks back, didn't we? We said about, was it 8-9 games in December? We're going to have to change the team round.
Yeah.
I still think he picked the wrong team for the wrong games. I think this team that started today probably would have done better against Brighton. And the team that played Brighton might have done better today. But having said that, look, Moyes clearly looked at this game today and went, Southampton, one of the best. They are one of the informed teams in the Premier League. They're the surprise package that everyone's talking about. They've got goals in them. They've got threat. And Moyes basically picked a team that was like, look, we're going to try and contain. We're going to try and stay in the game. And we've 15 minutes to go. I'm going to make the changes and see if we can get it. And we nearly did. We started sloppy, but we grew into the game.
Yeah.
It's
still, I mean, when you look at both the lineups, I mean, we were surprised that Danny Ings was starting for Southampton. I mean, he literally has only trained once, I think, before the game today. He's been thrusted into the starting lineup. And we do know that Southampton like to take those risks, etc. And, early on, he had the ball in the back of the net. And what was your thoughts right at the start of the game?
Well, thank goodness for offsides and VAR, because I think when that ball went into the back of the net, we all sat there thinking, oh dear, here we go. It's going to be an absolute annihilation. And we were grateful and we rode the storm. But this is what, it shows the faith that the manager had in Ings in order to bring him back so quickly. Because we thought he was going to be out for a while, didn't we? And he looked like he was a man who was actually all right. He didn't look like he was carrying any knock or injury or anything like that. So fair play to the player for coming back so quickly. But yeah, I thought we kind of feared the worst. And when that goal went in, I did sit here thinking, how many are they going to score? But we rode that storm. And
we did. We certainly did. And then, with that particular goal that was ruled offside, and I think it was ruled offside because the ball had been placed over the top to Shea Adams. He was part of the initial play. He was offside when he received the ball. He fed the ball back to Walcott. It went over the top, and there was a little bit of static defensive play between Dawson and Ogbonna. But that was probably expected, Cess, to be fair. When you think of Dawson's not had a game of football for however long it's been. It's his first start for West Ham. How did you rate Dawson's performance?
Basically, he grew into the game. He grew into the game as it progressed, and I think he was brought in to. He's brought in to do a job. He was brought in to literally just shore up the defense, literally just win aerial balls and just put his body on the line. And he done what he had to do. He had a good game. I was very surprised. I was very, very surprised. I think I can go back and say he looked a lot better in this game than Duke did when we were playing Crystal Palace, I believe.
Yeah.
He looks a lot more comfortable than Duke did.
Yeah. And I think, Matt, you were saying that when it came to that team selection there as well, Diop had his chance when he came back into the side. He didn't take his chance. And then Moyes is looking through the rest of the squad, knowing I need to do a bit of squad rotation. So I'm going to give Dawson that opportunity. And to be fair to Dawson, he took his chance tonight. West Ham have walked away with their first clean sheet in 7 games, and credit where credit's due.
And he got man of the match.
And he got man of the match.
Let's look at ourselves. He got man of the match. So if you want to know if he played well, yeah, he did. He had a shaky first 15 minutes, but I think that is actually. I'm not entirely sure if he played. I think that might have actually been his first start of the entire season. I don't know if he played for Watford before he come to us. So he only took 15 minutes to get in. I've seen comments on social media saying that he was very vocal. I mean, I can't tell because obviously we're doing this, so I always have the sound off. But apparently he was very vocal, commanding about the back line, which, is something we always struggle with. People don't communicate enough. And they said I can only think of them having 3 chances, and one of them was a set piece. And they were both in the first half, really in the first half. There was a couple of long ranges in the second half. But he had a few shaky moments, but he come in and I said he done a lot better. Give him credit. He pulled Che Adams off after 55 minutes.
But
because he wasn't in the game.
But the more I think about the Shea Adams one, I mean, let's just look back into the first half in particular when Dawson thought that Shea Adams' head was the football, and he absolutely volleyed Shea Adams' head. So what happened was a ball got fed in, and I think, Still, you were commenting in particular because you noticed that Augie had dropped to let Dawson, must have shouted, say it was my header. The ball kind of trickled in front of him and he went to try and smash the ball. The ball got nicked away and he just smashed Shea Adams' head. And if his head was disconnected from his shoulders, it probably would have gone at the back of the net, to be fair. But yeah, you know, credit where credit's due, and it does give Moyes. You know, I've heard Moyes' is chat after with the Amazon that they were talking to, and he was actually saying that he was really pleased with the strength and depth in the squad. And do you think? I mean, you can't help but look at that bench and think, right, okay, there's options off that bench, but it's just on that bench. Do you agree with that comment that Moyes is making with strength and depth?
I think we do have strength in depth. There are certain areas that I think we're still concerned about, but this is where certain players come in and show their worth. Just like Craig Dawson, you know, because I think before the season started, we would have said we've only got 3 central defenders, and everybody was dismissing Dawson as being a player that is never likely to start. And it was only going to be between even Balbuena wasn't even in the equation. It was going to be Diop and Ogbonna. And then all of a sudden, Balbuena got his opportunity with Diop going out, having to self-isolate, and he's taken his chance. And now, with Balbuena, you know, being rested, all of a sudden, Craig Dawson comes in and he's taken his chance as well. I've got to admit, though, mate, I mean, I think we all thought the same thing. When Dawson was on the team sheet, we all sat there going, what the hell is going on? Especially after the selections from the past few games where, you know, he's played no ball and he shouldn't have played him and stuff like that. And I know we all thought the same thing. We seriously thought, Moyes has lost it. You know, Craig Dawson is starting in defence. And I was asking, well, where the hell's Diop? But as some of you guys pointed out, Matt pointed it out, Cess has pointed it out, when Diop had his chance, he didn't take it. You know, he didn't play that well. And Dawson, to his credit, because I wasn't very appreciative of him in the first 15 minutes or so, I think he grew into the game. And that's where it shows you have strength in depth. Players like Dawson coming in, even Fredericks had a decent game, didn't he? At right back, that's when you start to see Ben Johnson the other day at left wing back. They're all beginning to show that there actually maybe is more strength in depth than we think. We know we've got a plethora of players up front as well. So maybe things aren't that bad. Maybe if there is only one area that we need to strengthen, maybe it's central midfield.
It kind of brings me on to the point, though, when we're talking about the team selection as well, and I know we're going through the game ever so slightly, but we were, as fans, crying out for different players to come on, creative players to come on. Lanzini came into the side and bringing up the kind of the formation that you know, One Football were saying that West Ham were actually playing there, and they've gone for a 4-1-4-1 formation that we set up in. And you did notice that Lanzini was stuck in behind Haller, but he did struggle today, but that probably wasn't down to him. Cess, was it really? Because West Ham didn't play the ball through the middle. We just constantly tried to play the ball through wide, and it just wasn't really working in the first half, was it?
You're on mute, Cess.
Oh, sorry, on you go, mate. On you go, sorry, Cess. Oh, you have to unmute yourself. Uh-oh. Do it again, Cess.
You're on mute, mate. Cess, you're on mute.
That's you. We can hear you now. We can hear you now. Go for it.
Can you hear me
Go
now?
on now, you're all right.
Yeah, on you go, Cess. Yeah.
Stop playing these games with me. Come on. All right. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah. I think Lanzini did struggle. I think it was the way it was set up. It's the reason why Lanzini struggled. I think like the player like Yarmolenko was completely anonymous. I think he offered nothing to us, to be honest with you. I thought it was like at the time was playing with 10 men. It looked. Fornals struggled as well, but in the second half he completely grew into the game. His defensive duties were gone unnoticed. He actually played really, really well. Then we made the changes where like Bowen coming on, Ben Rama coming on, you know, and we looked a lot better second half. And I think in the future, we need to go with, if we're going to go at teams, we need to play Bell. We need to play Ben Ram. We need to have Lanzini together. And we know that Antonio is going to be like our striker, you know. But
you can't help. You can't. Yeah, and again, you know, trying to remain. You try to remain positive, but I have to sometimes dissect, you know, team selection and the players that are bringing in. And as fans, we're crying out for that creativity, ball carriers, people that can create, people that can penetrate, etc., etc. And you've got Benrahma on the bench, and you hear the comments that David Moyes is making, but you see the creativity there. You're crying out for Lanzini to play, and then, you know, we have an opportunity to potentially see them, the two of them together. But what Moyes decided to do was go like for like. Now, when I listen to Moyes' comments after the game, you can't help but think that he is going, you know, of course he is. He's going to look at the positives. He's going to go, guys, we've walked away from the St Mary's Stadium against a really positive Southampton side with a point and a clean sheet. And do you know what? This time last year, we would absolutely have taken it. And I keep repeating myself. The problem is, Moyes has changed my mindset he's taken me there, and now I'm there. He's now nullifying it, and now I'm just like, oh my god, like I can't cope. I can't cope.
This is the thing, mate. It's, you know, what I said the other day. It's one step forward, one step backwards. You know, it's the way he did his sub, for example. Lanzini wasn't getting into the game, and it was through no fault of his own. It was more because, you know, it seemed the game was passing him by than anything else. And then we said, oh, it needs more creativity. Would be great to have Lanzini and Benrahma on. And we just knew, didn't we, that the minute there was going to be a sub made for Benrahma, it was going to be Lanzini coming off. It's going to be more like for like. And that's what frustrates a lot of fans with Moyes. It's that, you know, we think we're getting there, and then something happens where you just it makes you sit back and go, oh, maybe Moyes isn't thinking the same as what all the fans are thinking. So he takes us up to that level, and think about, you know, up to before the last three games, we were all riding high, weren't we? Then we got that awful defeat by Man U when I guess we didn't deserve to get beat. You know, you could argue for a lot of things why. And as you said earlier in the watch along, Anton, all of a sudden it looked like Moyes' mindset had changed. Oh, we got beat by Man U. Now that means I've got to go all defensive. And I think that's what happens with Moyes. It's like he takes you up to a certain level, like you just said, and then he just stops you in your tracks. And he goes, right, that's enough excitement for this season. You know, let's get back to brass tacks. And start being
and you know, when we do these videos, you can't help but sometimes come across like, and I noticed there was a couple of people in the comments going, stop being negative, guys, we're trying to grind out a result. But you know, it's not negative, it's actually a positive mindset that Moyes is actually, fair play to him, he's changed my mindset. I mean, Matt, Cess, what's your thoughts on that? Like, are you thinking the same? Are you gutted? Were you gutted at the team selection, etc.?
No, I mean, like we said we had to rotate, right? And let me put it into context. We rotated today. We made 5 changes. They put out their first team, barring one player who was injured, Vestergaard. That was their first team, and we drew 0-0. 2-3 days ago, they rotated and put their second team out against Fulham's first team, and they drew 0-0. So the fact that we put essentially half our second team out against their first team, and we've come away with a point, whereas their second team couldn't beat a relegation, looks like already dropped Fulham. I think you have to give Moyes credit. Like, you don't want to say it because football wasn't great, but he knew it wasn't going to be. He knew if he had to rotate, he knew that you're taking away attacking impetus. You could see that because he basically tried to hang in there. It was like 20 minutes to go. I'll give the guys a bit of a run out. And when we did get the run out, you could then see the attacking play come along. It's perspective. You know, yeah, you're right. He's raised the bar up so high that we're sitting here annoyed that we've only drawn 0 away at Southampton. But it was half the second team.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Absolutely. Cess, when you talk about, you know, when you look at West Ham and then you come into half-time, the game's 0-0, and we're still in the game, of course, and, you know, last week or the other day when you hear his comments saying that he wanted to get to half-time until Brighton scored the goal, and you know, we got there, we got to the half-time and it was 0-0, and we thought, do we see some changes? But we didn't make the changes straight away. But then he done the like-for-like substitution with Benrahma coming on for Lanzini. At that point, we were on the match day live having a chat, and we were a bit confused at that point. I think it was when, Matt, you said, it's just, you know, fresh legs, that's all he's going for, and that's when you started to started to click for me. It was like, right, okay, we're still in this game, and there's maybe an opportunity, fresh legs, but we're not going to go all out at them. But fair play, it was a game of two halves, and I felt like West Ham had the better of the second half, Cess.
Yeah, we pretty much you just pretty much summed up what I was going to say. Really, it was a tale of two halves. It was, to be honest. We didn't look in the races the first half. It was like we were weathering the storm. We were trying to survive. We're trying to hold on and get to 0-0 at half time, and then Moyes would be like, okay, let's see where we're at the moment. And then second half, it was like, all right, I'm going to give it 10 minutes, see how it goes. And Southampton, they didn't really create that much. It wasn't really that much of a threat to us, to be honest with you. And then as we made the changes, we looked a lot better than them. We could have nicked it, to be honest with you. McCarthy made that brilliant save he did from Ben Rama. But, you got to respect the point. You got to take it, really. With all the changes made as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Still, it comes again, we're talking about Sebastian Haller and coming close to the end of the game. We didn't think he was going to do it, but he did. We've seen Antonio warming up on the sidelines. He brought him on. But talk to me about Haller's performance today. Oh, Stel, can't hear you, Stel, can't hear you.
Sorry, there we go.
Yeah.
It's always going to be chalk and cheese with Haller, isn't it? I've only got that. A lot of a lot of fans are going to go. Yeah, another typical rubbish Haller performance. Didn't do anything. Didn't score. Didn't do this, that, and the other. I see differently, and hopefully some others do. I see a player that's been putting his effort in. He's been really, really trying. He's not getting the rub of the pitch, but I likened it to the way Lanzini played today, where the game passed Lanzini by. That's not Lanzini's fault. That was the way we were playing, and that's what we've been doing with Haller. The game passed him by, but I see a player that has been putting effort in. Trying to do, running the channels and trying to sort of defend from the front and stuff like that. It was obvious that as soon as Antonio was fit, he was going to come on for Haller. And I said during the game, I think that might be the last time we see Haller until Antonio goes out injured again. But then someone did mention, well, we'll have Josh King by then. So I'm really fearful. I think we will not see too much of Sebastian Haller for the rest of this season.
And Matt, I suppose that Matt and Cess, both the same question to both of you when it comes to Haller. And see, when Antonio was coming on, I was thinking, you're constantly hearing that Moyes is looking for different options. You can't help. There's an element of me that's starting to think that I wonder if we'll start to see Haller and Antonio together, because that is a different option, and an option that we have saw prior to this, last season when we did play Southampton the last time. What's your thoughts on that?
Matt, do you want to take that? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he does want to play. I think we will see it at some point. But I just think I said this to you a while back. I might have even been way back before Villa. I was like, he can't do it at the moment. He doesn't have the choice because he's only got two centre forwards. Mm-hmm. We've got the fact that the season started so late, and the fact that Haller isn't injury prone. We got extremely lucky at the fact that we've gone half the season with only two centre forwards, because we are at the point now where days away, only a couple of days away from the window opening again, we can get someone else in. We said that we've got options on the pitch, but one place we don't really have actual options is centre forward. We've technically played half a season with one recognised centre forward in Haller. And Antonio has moulded into that role, but Yarmolenko can do a job there, but he hasn't been able to play the two of them together because he can't. And Haller will get stick again today. But what's the difference? Apart from a couple of times when Ben Rama played the wall pass for a 1-2 off of Antonio, there was no difference in that 75 minutes that Haller played to the 15 minutes Antonio done. There was no difference. They've done the exact same job, but Antonio will get praised and Haller will get moaned at.
Yep. And listen, Cess, in the second half in particular, I can think of 2 clear-cut chances. I can think of the cross coming in for Thomas Soucek at the back post. He headed the ball down, it went straight to the keeper. And then, of course, the Ben Rama chance. The Ben Rama chance in the 84th minute. That was the chance, really, wasn't it, for us, Cess?
That was the golden chance. That was the chance that we could have nicked it. But to be honest, everyone's saying that was a bad hit from Ben Rama, but I thought it was a really top save from McCarthy. I thought you've done really well to react so quickly. I'll be honest with you. It's just one of them. It's just one of them things that just happens. It's like, I don't think Southampton, they didn't really have any. Could you remember Southampton having, other than like the disallowed goal, which was from Danny Ings? I don't really remember Southampton having actual proper clear-cut chances. If that's me going crazy or not, I didn't really see much.
Well, do you know what? I made a comment during the Matchday Live, right? And it's not to take away from the fact that we're grinding out results, etc. But it's something that Nigel, who I think's in the chat tonight, has said a few times when he's been saying that as West Ham fans, what we're getting is a little bit of excitement. We can't deny remotely that we've lost excitement over the last 6-7 games in particular. And there is an element of boredom. I don't want to totally disrespect the situation that West Ham are in and the position that we're in, but it is a little bit boring. Are we just nullifying the threat of being relegated? Am I doing the Moyes thing an injustice? Is he taking his time and trying to build something? And still, you made the point in your show when you done the comparison from this year to last year. There is an improvement, and we need to take that improvement, but it's a little bit of a boring improvement, because if you think about the start of the season compared to now, it's definitely different.
I think everyone understands that how awful it's been over the past few seasons fighting relegation battles, and we know we need stability. And we've talked this to death over since Moyes has been back managing the team, that he's probably one of the better managers to have us to stabilise us. There's absolutely no dispute in that. I guess we're kind of running away with ourselves because we saw the great effort that we put in at the end of last season and the great effort that we put in the first sort of half dozen or so games at the beginning of this season, going in against teams that we all thought we were going to get slaughtered against, like Leicester and Wolves and all that sort of stuff. Even when we were playing badly against the likes of Fulham and nicking 3 points, etc. And I think we kind of got a bit carried away with ourselves and we thought, okay, we've got a platform now. And we're sort of half joking about it, but it's half serious that we're now on 23 points. So does David Moyes look at it as being 17 points away from safety, or does he look at it as being a platform to say we can step up our game now and we can start going forward and start playing with a bit more flair? I'm not talking about opening up the back and letting a whole load of goals in like we've done in the past, but just that bit more excitement. So I know what you mean when you say it's becoming a little bit stagnant, and sometimes it's in the team selection that we've seen. I keep saying it. I think we're 3 points away against Chelsea and against Brighton. I think we could have got a point against Chelsea, and I think we could have got 3 points against Brighton. He got it more right today, even though I think a lot of us were confused at the 5 changes. But hats off to him. He got it right. But it's that attacking flair. It's like what I said earlier. He decided to finally give us Benrahma, but I knew that Lanzini was going to be sacrificed.
And we were saying that at the time, though, weren't we? We were looking at it and we were going, please don't put that board up and see number 10. Please don't put that board up and see number 10. But at the end of the day, he did. He's done it, and that's what's happened. And we've walked away with the point at the St Mary's Stadium against Southampton. We're still 10th place. We've got 23 points after 16 Premier League games, I think it is. I certainly didn't see ourselves in that position, to be honest, at the start of the season. But we are. But like we said through this whole show, we've been up there. Moyes has changed my mindset, so therefore I'm having to bring myself maybe off a bit of cloud 9 half the time because of how well the start of the season has gone. Let's take a look at some of the stats for the game. I think I've uploaded the final stats.
Can I, before you look at this point by Mark?
Oh, sugar, yeah.
Benrahma chance. What would the reaction have been if Haller had missed that?
Yeah. Everyone would be saying,
a really good point, isn't it?
It would have been carnage on Twitter.
It would have exploded.
Oh, Haller is this, Haller is that. Oh my
Yeah.
God, he's useless.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. This.
I think you made the point a
You
couple
are
of weeks back,
donkey.
still.
This-
Or was it on your show?
It would have been that.
We always have to have someone to blame.
Yeah.
Because West Ham
Yeah,
fans,
we always do.
Yeah, scapegoat.
We always do.
we always find a scapegoat. And at the moment,
Yeah.
it's Haller for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But you can't, it's funny because I think people will. I've seen some people in the comments early on saying there about Lanzini saying, "Oh, I thought Lanzini was poor today," but that wasn't Lanzini that was
No,
poor.
that's
The ball never actually entered his area pretty much the full first half.
Exactly, and this is exactly the point I've been making about Allaire all season. If you're not going to use a player's strengths, whether it be your striker, your midfielder, or whatever, don't have them on. You might as well, put 10 defenders on the pitch like he did against Brighton. No point having Lanzini on. So it's not Lanzini's fault that he wasn't involved in the game because Lanzini wasn't getting a sniff.
Yeah.
Can't blame Lanzini for that.
So, we'll take a look at the kind of match stats and then we'll kind of have a brief chat about maybe a little bit of the future. I mean, I know we've got the Everton game coming up, etc. But is this the final stats? I think it is. Yep. So you've got 37% possession to West Ham to Southampton 62. Total shots was 9 for West Ham to Southampton's 8. And we both had 3 on target. It's just always nice to give people a little bit of stats, especially when Nigel's in the show, because we know how much he appreciates.
Was those the stats from One Football by any chance?
Yes.
Oh well, that's a surprise.
One Football, by the way, who are our actual channel sponsors. If you check out all the stuff that's going on the screen right now. So yes, are we happy?
In the circumstances, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
As I said, he had to rotate. We said that. The amount of games we played, he had to rotate. It's Southampton. I sat before game, didn't I? I said he picked the wrong team to rotate. He should have done it at the Brighton game and not today because I thought it was going to be a challenging game. So you need to give credit to the players that come in because they did, like Seth said, for the most part, they nullified them. You had the 2 Danny Ings chances in the first 15 minutes that were both offside. Apart from that, they had a couple of pot shots from long range. Didn't do anything. We had the 2 biggest chances in the game. We had the Fredericks header in the first half, and then you had that Benrahma chance. So he's rotated, and we always know we're going to have less possession, but he rotated. We still had more shots than Southampton, and he kept them quiet. Danny Ings featured for about 15 minutes, didn't do anything. Charlie Adams come off after 55 minutes. Walcott didn't really do much. They were praising him at half time for finding space, but he done nothing with it. It's 23 points from 16 games. We're still only 3 points off 5th.
Yeah.
For all the we should have this point here and here. It's like Stel said though. It's just what is Moyes' ambitions? Is it another 17 points to go and then?
But I think at the end of the day, but when you look at this comment here from Graham Lindsay, I honestly believe that Moyes is happy not to be fighting against relegation and has no real vision to climb the table. But Graham is, at the start of the season, what was Moyes' vision? Was that to be safe?
That was Moyes' vision, yeah.
That was his vision. So at the end of the day, if it is his vision, he's changed it because he's found the right setup, he's found the right, formations and with the players that he's got, and that's catapulted West Ham, and that's what we're all saying since Project Restart. It's things have gone well for West Ham, and it's just changed their mindsets, and that's where I think the fan base is, and that's why you look and you see the toxicity, especially when you look at places like Twitter, Facebook, social media, etc. in general.
Especially if you consider that was.
Yeah,
sorry, I just saw this comment. Look, for Sheezy. Moyes' remit is EPL survival. That would have been his job this year. He came.
But we're there already, though, aren't we, mate? This isn't going to be a relegation season.
This is what we're saying, based on our West Ham rose-tinted glasses of what we've seen so far this season.
But are we not allowed to dream a little bit? Are we not allowed to dream a little bit?
Every
Just sort
single
of say,
had us in that relegation battle again.
Yeah, they did.
That's
They all had us in there. So you've got to take perspective. We're all now. It's like Ant said. We're all happy now, and we're moaning because we're not doing better than we are. We're moaning sitting 10th on 23 points from 16 games. I guarantee we probably didn't get to 23 points till like 23 games last year.
Yeah.
The fact that he's getting Moyes you cut himself off because he's being successful.
Darling.
And yeah, we are right. I know. Look, every football fan wants to succeed. They want their team to do well, and we want to do better than they're doing.
I'm sorry, I'm slightly taking it off topic, and this is the last one. I don't know if that's a threat to my life or whatever. I'm not too sure.
Proper Dalek, Anton would be. But that back, if Anton was a proper Dalek, I'd be first to try my gun.
I don't know if I should take that as a threat. Is that a threat to my life or something? I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Oh man!
But listen, I mean, this is what's happened. You know, West Ham's turned us into these crazy nutters who sit here and have a clue. But we're coming into every game, and this is where we're going back to. We're coming into every game, and we can't really predict the starting lineup anymore. Matt, me and you tried to predict it last night. I went for 2 changes. You went for 1, and we got 5. So I mean, what else can we do?
You don't know. Yeah.
Look.
It would surprise me
Moyes
Everton if he goes 4-4-2 or something.
No, we don't know what formation he's going to play, what players he's going to play.
Tony up front.
Yeah.
But to give Moyes credit, we're sitting in moaning because we only got a point of Southampton sitting, 9th, 10th in the table on 23 points in 16 games. That's how much in credit to Moyes he's raised the bar. We're now moaning like, could have got another 2 points today. We'd be sitting 6th. You've got to give him credit where it's due. And to be fair, I did see it. I'm sure it was a couple of days ago that he'd done a talk about Europe, and he was like, we'd like to be pushing up there, but we need a few more players.
Yeah.
So he could do it. And like I said before the game, if you go back and look at Everton teams, when he's hit 40 points, he has continued to press and try and push on, but he's also brought some of the kids in. So he could use it as an excuse to get to 40 points. And we might see a Nathan Holland. We might see a Connor Coventry. We might see an Odiabeko. You know, he might give kids a chance.
So talk to me based upon this comment here. Now, we know this isn't the Everton preview, but we'll touch on it because I think it's quite a valid point. Jake from West Ham Unofficial, go over and head over to the channel, hit the subscribe button, all that malarkey. He said here, back to full strength side versus Everton. What is our full strength side?
Soufal will come back in. Bob Wayne will come back in.
Well, we know those ones. It's the attacking ones.
It's the attacking one.
Bowen.
That's the
I think
one.
Bowen will come in.
Correct.
I think Bowen goes straight back in like left hand side. Sorry, the right hand side. It's those other 2 positions, isn't it? Because I think Halle will still start.
Yeah.
I think because we got the Everton game, as someone said earlier, and then we got 10 days before the FA Cup game.
Yeah.
That's our winter break. The 10 days there. So I think Halle will start. I think Antonio might get like half an hour, and then Antonio's got the next 10 days to get fit to then maybe play 90 minutes in the FA Cup game. For me, you're just talking about 2 positions. Talking about the number 10 and the left wing. Now, I think Fornals will get that left wing position because, as he's shown today, his defensive work is vital when you play attacking teams.
Yeah. I'd like to bring Stel. I'd like to bring Stel back into I'd like to bring Stel back into the stream because we could hear all his conversations that he was having in his private life in the background. Stel, welcome back to the. He's on mute again. He's muted himself again.
Yeah, he's muted himself.
It's good. He's better like that.
That was the delivery man, mate. My dinner's here.
Here we go.
Well, listen. We do you know what? We're actually breaking records here. We're at 40 minutes, and we're going to cut it. That's where we're at now. So unless we want to jump through some of the comments,
I've been doing it. Shall I carry on? So here's a few. I think we need to move on from Allaire and blame Masuaku.
The service. Masuaku's not in the team.
Tony Gale is a Allaire hater as well. Apparently, someone said that Gale always likes to pick on a player when he watches our games. Ronda and Tony, do you think Anderson is coming back as soon as he can't make the bench at Porto? No, he's out there for a whole year.
There's no thing to send him back, is there?
Yeah.
West Ham saved his wages, so they won't want him back.
Has Dalek told you whether he's going to use his gun on you yet or not?
He's apologised.
He's apologised. I don't know. You shouldn't apologise, Dalek. Tony Blackwell, Moyes may be in a position where he can now feature Allaire and Antonio. Do you reckon that would happen, lads?
I actually genuinely believe when I seen Antonio coming off.
Centre forward in.
No, I don't even know if I see that, mate. To be honest, if you pick up on what he says, I'm looking for different options, and he's a massive fan of Antonio. When I seen Antonio coming on the park tonight, the first thing I thought of was, and I know Hilaire was coming off, I wonder if he's going to try that one more time. I wonder if there's going to be an element. Tony, I think that could be an option in the future, to be honest.
Did you know that we're the only team who hasn't had a penalty this season?
Didn't know that.
We not had a penalty this season?
No,
I'm
seems
racking
not.
my brain right now, and I can't think, but no.
Here we go, another one.
Yeah,
5-3-2
exactly
or
what I
4-4-2. Hilaire and Antonio. 2 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
Still, what's this, mate?
Well, you should know, mate. You're the one that's under it. Honestly, I love the way that you.
Anyway, there he goes. He's gone for his dinner because he's been told to go for his dinner.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
Right, we need
Yeah,
to take this. We need to take this serious.
So boring. You're so boring.
4-4-2
Anton.
at some point. I doubt he'll do it against Everton. I think he'll save that for somewhere like a West Brom or Burnley or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Forget relegation battle. We're doing okay. Need to play. Will Dawson play more, or is Balbuena better than Dawson?
Coming in tonight, boys.
The situation we're in now. This is the situation we're in. Dawson's come in, played really well against a good side, and got man of the match.
So
Moyes' history says I will keep him in the team.
Yeah. That is, if we go on what Moyes has done most of the season, because don't forget that's exactly what happened with Diop. Balbuena come in, took his position, played well, and it was like, all right, Diop's not getting back in the team again.
I've messaged the in the know who knows the senior source and asked him when are we going to hear about the Diop transfer, and he just laughed. Watch this space. I reckon watch this space.
I told you, mate.
What's that? What did you say?
I told you he's going to Liverpool.
Yeah. Well, it came from you. Do you know Anton reckon it came from him? Do you know that?
No, I didn't say that whatsoever.
I'll
put the proof. I've got the text. I'll put it up right now. I'll put it up right now if you want.
We will probably we'll have some kids against Stockport. Apparently, it costs 50 grand to get the first team there. So Sully is hoping to get the kids.
Well, we could be in full lockdown by then, mate.
Yeah, that's if we get there.
Yeah, forget that far.
I'm avoiding all the I've gone to feed the cats and I've gone to do the dishes. You guys have got nothing better to do than moan about me. Business analyst, what a name. Business analyst. Moyes is a coach who doesn't win and who will not gain anything. He says his team plays well on the ball, but he's the only one that sees it. I think Frank Thomas would be a good alternative to the club. Thoughts? Who's Frank Thomas?
I was going to ask you. No idea, mate.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's a bit harsh because don't forget, look, he ruined his reputation through Man United, Sunderland, and was it Sociedad or something he went to in Spain.
Sociedad.
Yeah. But if you go back to
Sociedad.
the reason that he got the Man United job because of how well we've done at Everton for a decade, and if you go back to that, that's what he's now trying to do here. If he's given the time.
Yeah.
And don't forget, they were always competing in around the top of the table. They went Champions League a couple of years.
Will he get a 2-year contract?
I think he will. I think he'll get probably 3 years. Yeah, it'll be like, the 2 years with the option of another year. I think he'll probably get that.
I think they're going to give it till April and see how it
That's
goes.
what I said, mate.
Give it till April.
Give it till April.
Apparently, they always wait till January.
So that we are 100% safe on 39 points with 5 games to go, and then they might just give him a contract.
Boom. Yeah.
Balbuena is better, and if you don't start him, he will leave. Then we'll get a replace. Then we got to replace both as Dawson is old. Well, Balbuena's in his last season, mate. So
I don't think Balbuena's going at all.
He said he's not leaving, didn't he?
Yeah.
If
Tony Blackwell.
Do you know what's crazy? Yeah, we saw that. I literally just watched it.
You saw that one, yeah?
He won't leave
Absolutely
because
incredible.
The money in the Premier League, as we've seen, like with China, players trying to come back now because they get more money. I did see.
Well, let's not talk about players from China. That might start exciting Anton, thinking that his favourite player's coming back.
I did see. Was it last month? Someone was saying about one of the teams in Argentina wanted to bring him back.
Oh, he can go anywhere he wants. Who cares? So long as he doesn't come back to us. Good job Dawson didn't score. He would definitely have been dropped if he had. Good point. You can see there. Oh yeah, that's about the.
Right, lads. Listen, we're
nearly done. Hang on.
No, but listen. Listen. Step.
I'm done. I've got to go and eat.
No, that's what I was going to say. Stell, you need to go, mate. So,
It's interesting that looks more like you than it does me, mate.
So, listen, thanks for joining us. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Keep the comments coming in. Go and hit, what would you call that thing? I don't even know. OneFootball, our sponsors. Has that torn all the chocolates off the tree? Honestly, mate, that's why I'll only show you this up, because you don't want to see this down. After the Christmas period.
If you guys have noticed, he's got a new West Ham shirt on, not one with a sweater shirt, and he can only. The only size he can fit into was the Sam Allardyce size, apparently.
Right, anyway,
I'm going.
thanks for joining us. We'll be back with a preview. I think we're doing a preview not tomorrow, but the day after, because the game's on New Year's Day.
So that means we're doing a preview on New Year's Eve, are we?
I think we're going to try and do a preview early on New Year's Eve, if we can. That's the plan. Put a preview out nice and early on New Year's Eve, and we'll come that way. Oh, and finally, what is it we usually do? If you're interested in a mug, where are they? There they are there. So as you can see, the top one, which is the claret and blue, is one mug. The bottom left is a Brooklyn 10 with the claret logo, and then you've just got a full white mug with black logo as well. So we've got them available. And genuinely, you ready for this one, Stell? You like this?
Go on.
They are potentially coming soon, the beer mugs. Very soon.
Marvellous. Brilliant.
Working my way on it for you.
The question is, though, where's the hoodie? That's the question.
Well, I think let's see how the mugs go, the beer mugs go, and then we'll
I think I like the idea of this one. To be honest, this could be one with Stell. We could put Stell's face in the thumb.
Mate,
and,
that
we
is
could do that.
So.
Anyway,
honestly,
listen, I've been Anton. He's been Stell. He's gone for his dinner.
He talks so much shit. It's bad enough with a Kilmarnock fan.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe, all that sort of stuff. We've been West Ham United. Come on, you guys.
Look, Mugs. There's 4 on the screen now. That's not very nice. Oh.